Yo Holo. Today we're going to go ahead and look at a interdiction, disable, and boarding training operation that Chaos Squad recently conducted. I'm going to be running the Mantis in this operation. So I'm going to begin by jumping from ArcL1 to the ArcCorp system. Now I'm aiming for a distance away from ArcL1 of 200 to 300 kilometers. This range should stop any and all traffic coming from the ArcCorp system to ArcL1. So I'm a little bit outside of my range here. I'm just going to make a little correction hop. Still not quite it. We're going to do one more correction hop. I am about 230 kilometers away from ArcL1, which puts me right in my sweet spot. Now I'm going to go ahead and warm up the QED and wait for my target to arrive. Now, one thing to note while you are running your quantum interdiction device, you have a friend nearby, which I strongly advise that you do. Just before you pull a target out of quantum space, your ship will turn red because you basically flagged for combat at this point. You can see that our target has arrived. We're going to go ahead and engage with distortion weapons and a small amount of lethals as well. There's some debate currently about the effectiveness of distortion weapons. Chaos Squad still finds them to be highly effective on small or medium-sized ships, and they are good for dropping the shields on ships of any size. You will, however, run into a little bit of problems if you are trying to disable a larger ship, say a Caterpillar or Hercules, or a Carrack, for example. Without an EMP, you're going to find that the components will recharge and your target will be able to begin to fight back or evade at that point. Now, Chef here is doing a pretty good job of fighting back here. Most of your target ships, your industrialists, your miners, and your traders, they're not probably going to try and fight back. They're most likely going to run in a straight line and just try to outrun you, which is a smart thing to do, because they're probably not going to be able to outfight you, right? So running is really their only chance. Now, if your ship is faster than their ship, they're basically screwed. So strongly advise that you pick a ship that can keep up with anything that you might want to pirate. We're just going to keep on applying that distortion damage here to get the shields down. And they're getting close. Now once those shields do go fully down, any distortion damage that we apply to these shield generators will increase the amount of time it takes for your target ship's shields to begin to regenerate. So there we go, we've stripped the shields, and now our distortion weapons are really going to start doing some work. You're going to see the EMs of your target ship begin to drop each time you hit with your distortion weapons. The EMs are located in your target display. For this ship, it's on the lower right-hand side of the screen. And in the right-hand side of that, you'll see two little boxes. The one on the top is the EMs. Looks like currently the EMs are around 5,000. Which is fairly low for the Cutlass. So we've already done a considerable amount of distortion damage, and he's probably starting to struggle just a little bit. He may find that his HUD is flickering or completely gone. He'll start to lose control of his engines. His shields, as we've already discussed, are no longer recharging. And if those EMs drop low enough, he's going to lose control of his weapons as well. So at this point, your target's going to become much easier to deal with. They can barely fight and they can barely run. So really it's just a matter of time here until we apply enough distortion damage to get the full shutdown. Okay, the target's EMs are approaching 1,000, and there they go, drop just below 1,000. At this point, the ship is basically completely ineffective. Can't move, can't shoot, can't recharge shields. They're dead in the water at this point. So now it's time to begin phase 3 of our operation, the boarding phase. During this phase, it's important to continue to apply distortion damage. As we discussed before, the ship's components may come back online. If that pilot is in the seat and ready to respond, they may be able to use this window to escape. So it's important to keep on shooting those distortion cannons or applying EMPs to your target. So at this point, our boarding team is going to disembark from their ships and begin to EVA towards the target. You'll notice that the target is moving just ever so slightly. That's because the velocity from the distortion weapons does transfer partially over to the target ship. So it's going to bounce around just a little bit as we continue to keep that distortion damage coming in. Not really enough to be dangerous, but it is something that you want to be aware of. Now here I'm going to go up to the cockpit and take a peek, see if I can gather any information. And there's the pilot right there. So I know where inside the ship he is. And we'll begin to have my crew go ahead and shoot the doors down. So when the ship is shields down like this, you can take a FPS weapon, a first-person shooter weapon, and just apply a little bit of damage to the doors. And on most of the ships currently in-game, those doors will eventually open if you shoot them enough. So now we're just going to have a little exchange of fire. And it looks like Tanarus here has eliminated the target. I wasn't able to capture it on camera, but we can see the results here. There is our dead pilot. So there it is, folks. That is how you interdict, disable, and board any medium-sized or smaller vessel in Star Citizen. Good luck, and happy hunting.